what has inspired the Thorn over the years. Certainly Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas. I was so moved by what they were able to do with the music and the movement and the backgrounds.
So I recently went to see the Thorn production play performance, if you will, at the Balco Theater in downtown Denver. And I wish I would have recorded this video sooner because it would have been so amazing for you to go see it. So if you saw it, make sure you let me know in the description below. But I want to show you a quick video of the influence on how they made the production, and then an official trailer, and then a little bit more about the history of the Thorn, because it's such a powerful production. Let's check this out.
So we talk about what has inspired the Thorn over the years. Certainly Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas. I was so moved by what they were able to do with the music and the movement and the backgrounds and the costumes, and I was almost moved to tears. I thought to myself,
so it was inspired by Cirque du Soleil in Las Vegas. If you've ever been to a Las Vegas show, they're really good.
what could we do with the story of God?
Now, as we continue to watch this, like one of the things that I wanted to know was, because I've been to a Vegas show and the production is so high, and it should be, right? It's Vegas, and they actually build the productions to stay in one studio, like one place, whether it's the MGM Grand or the Luxor, right? And they're able to build things out, and the production is such a high quality. And my thought was, how can this be that high quality if it's touring, right? If it's moving and they have to set up and tear down, and every scene or every potential venue is a little bit different. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that here, and my thoughts on that here in a minute. Now, they made a movie out of this too.
People are brought face to face with who Jesus is and with what he did. Jesus came to earth, loves us,
yes,
lived like we did, and was abandoned and hurt, bled and died, and then rose from the dead for us. Like, that's the powerful story, the centerpiece of what the Thorn is, and that's what keeps it going, and what keeps us going is the story of Jesus.
Yes. So good. Again, now I went and saw this production. It was amazing. Is it the quality of a Vegas show? No, because it's touring. But was it quality overall? Like, was it entertaining? Was it impactful? Was it were the actors legit? Were the stage performers like professional? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, like it was amazing to see the way that they put this together. I want to show you one more trailer and then tell you a little bit about my experience, read a quick article that explains a little bit more of the history of the Thorn, and then we'll wrap it up with the verse. So let's check out another scene here. Some of these scenes are the same, but...
What was your crime?
My crime was sharing the good news about my master. To tell you the truth of Jesus, we must travel back to the very beginning of time.
What's a Messiah?
It's a hero that was foretold of by our elders long ago.
Again, they made this into a movie. Should it be out streaming somewhere soon?
I've seen blind children see, lame beggars walk. He cured the incurable, forgave the unforgivable.
Come on.
I thought you told me that Jesus was going to become king. They don't crucify kings.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
Man, this is so good. Now, if you get a little bit of an idea there, there's a narration that happens. So when you go and see this production or the movie, you have the Apostle John. I actually took a picture of John. So John is kind of the narrator / MC, and he is telling the story while interacting with the audience. So he's saying, hey, I hope you're ready to meet my friends. I hope you're ready to meet, the story. And then he starts to tell the story and interact with each scene. And so John is the perfect person to do this. And I want to show you a verse here because in John 1:1, and this is kind of where I think they probably got this from. It says, in the beginning, John, in the beginning, the Word already existed. This means that Jesus was in the beginning. The Word was with God. Jesus was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought light into everyone. This light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. Now, John, when you read the book of John, he talks about the beginning and then talks about the end, right? So he has both spectrums, like eternity past and eternity future, which makes him the perfect person to narrate. Again, I'll show you a picture of him to narrate this whole production, right? And so he tells the story of the beginning, and then all of a sudden you see the beginning of creation happen, and then the fall of man, how sin entered into the world. And then it goes on to why Jesus had to come, and you interact and you understand who Jesus is and was and his importance. And it's just a really, really powerful play. And so there's a lot of acting with not a lot of dialogue, if you will. So John, he'll tell a piece of the story, and then the action scene will happen, as if it was nobody's, there's not a bunch of people with microphones on. They're basically acting out the scenes while John's watching. And in some cases, it's so cool. Like the scene is going on and Jesus is coming through town, and just before he's going to be betrayed, there's a scene where everybody stops, and then John walks through and says, had I known different, right? I wouldn't have done this, or I would have saw this, and I didn't realize this. It's so cool the way that he puts it together, the way that the play is. And I have some information on the history of the Thorn. There was an article written on by the Catholic Mom, I guess, the Holy Cross Family Ministries, just a few days ago, March 3rd, 2023. And he writes, this is the Thorn in 3 minutes. And he says, today I continue my ongoing series of conversations with awesome storytellers creating the fantastic projects as I'm joined by John Brolin, the executive producer and creator of the Thorn. Okay, so he talks about this release. And again, they did make this into a film. So this will be, if it's not already streaming on whatever platform they make a deal with, but it was released in theaters for a couple of days, which is super cool that's happening. A lot of, you have the Jesus Revolution. You have different movies now that are being more accepted in theaters because they're realizing that people want to see these movies, right? And so this was released a couple of days in theaters. The release of this film experience during Lent offers us the perfect way to immerse ourselves in the spirit of the season and to share our faith with others, experiencing it all in its glory. Again, this already happened March 6th and 7th in theaters, the Fathom event. Okay, so John Brolin, again, I'll read you just a little bit. I'll go over this. I won't take too long, but I just want you to hear the history. He's the executive producer, the creator, the writer, and creative executive. He has written more than a dozen books, so this guy isn't new to this. Novels, several of which have become bestsellers with more than 25 years in live entertainment experience. Okay, and so for more than 25 years, and I didn't know, and I feel like I've heard of the Thorn before, but this for more than 25 years, apparently in front of 1.5 million people on stages around the country, the Thorn has shared in a spectacular way the history's most epic, right? This is kind of the story behind it. God's love for the world amidst the spiritual battle of all humanity. And now The Thorn again is coming to theaters. And so there's a question that in this interview for him, and he says, congratulations on the theatrical release of The Thorn. Please begin briefly by introducing yourself. And Sarah, and he says, this is the producer answering here. I am the producer and writer, and most importantly, a father of 5 and passionate follower of Jesus, right? He doesn't put what he does in front of who he is and what he's called to do. Be a father, be a follower of Christ. I love that. I've been married for 30 years to Sarah, who is the heart of The Thorn. And my role in The Thorn is to lead a creative and visionary and a spokesperson. And Sarah leads our team members in overseeing the cast and HR, and make sure all the details of the tours come together. So how did you originally, this is super cool, how did you originally conceive of The Thorn? I was working as a youth pastor in Colorado. I'm from Colorado. Come on. And after meeting one night, a teenage girl sat down on the edge of the stage next to me. I could see the tears streaming down her face. She held out her arms, and I could see where she had been cutting herself, right? This is how The Thorn was conceived. I looked at her and told her she didn't need to do that because of what Jesus did for her. Come on. I could see where she had been cutting herself again. This next week, we did a drama to illustrate both the price that Jesus paid for us and the reality of the spiritual battle of our destiny, calling, and identity. I love that. A group of volunteer ministry youth leaders took the roles of Jesus, the disciples, the centurions, angels, and demons. And the first Thorn presentation wasn't amazing, but it worked, right? Because God loves us. When he tells the story that night, scores of young people decided to follow Jesus. And when the senior pastor had heard about it, he asked us to perform The Thorn next year for the Easter weekend. And this is so amazing. I'll read a little bit more here in the moment, but I remember growing up in the church, and we were part of a lot of plays, a lot of dramas, a lot of productions, if you will, and they're at the level of a church stage, and whatever you find, whatever sheets and things you find to tie around you to look like you lived in that day and age, when whatever fake blood you could find. We had this cross in our church for several years, and it was from a play, and we would put it on the stage for a long time. We finally took that down and just rearranged the stage and everything. But all that to say is that this drama, this play birthed in a church as a result of someone's pain, is still going today. And so let me read a little bit more here. What would you account for the incredible growth and reach of what you created? Without a doubt, the biggest reason, this is the producer answering, the biggest reason for the growth of The Thorn is that God has propelled it forward, right? Without God's hand on this, there's no way we'd be where we are. So I also believe that because we are telling the story and showing the passion in the way that hasn't really been done before, there's a lot of interest in that. The fact that we use aerial acrobatics, right? This is true. This is different. This didn't happen in my church on 43rd and Alcott in Denver, right? Flaming swords, martial arts, and modern dance to tell the timeless story of the gospel is certainly part of the reason why people pay attention. I couldn't agree more. It was such a great production. As artists, we strive to do what we do with excellence. We hire top-level talent. We want attendees to be surprised, entertained, and deeply moved, which I was. I was there. I seen this. We try to avoid what is sometimes a churchy cringe factor. I totally get that. I was part of a lot of churchy cringe factor plays in my days, right? All right. We want to honor God by giving him the very best in every area, from costumes to makeup, and from stagecraft to lighting. And this could not be more true. It was so incredible to see the talent, the acting ability, the stage presence of each one of these actors. And so what he's saying here is absolutely true. It could not be more true. I'll read just a little bit more before we wrap this up, but The Thorn is a very immersive experience in person. We wanted to try to capture that same sense of visceral emotion in the filmed version. We also wanted to give our Thorn fans a way to experience the show in a way that they had never had before. To do this, we filmed it several days with no audience to capture what they call coverage. shots of the scene from angles that we could not do with the live audience in the room. We were able to get perspectives of scenes and our fans will see for the very first time. And so again, I want to encourage each one of you once this comes out, if you didn't see it already, if you did, let me know in the description below. But God is doing something amazing around our world with movies, with productions like The Thorn, illustrating why Jesus is coming to the world. His death and resurrection was so important to each and every one of us in the world in existence today. Let's support movies like this. Let's support productions like this because they really are telling the truth of the gospel, and we need more and more and more of it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think in the description below. We'll see you soon.